Again, that was just an illusion of Margit, or Morgott. This is proper name. I think actually his stick is one of the few things you can't get as a weapon. Unless I'm misinformed. I don't think you can get that stick. Alright, we're gonna go back to Kale here and buy some more throwing daggers. We got lots of runes from defeating Margit. I'm not allowed to use them though. Level cap currently is 10. Okay, that item stays there, according to my own challenge rules.
Wait, well, you're back.
Let's get a lot. Oh yeah, I can use the buttons to do more. Take 200 throwing daggers, please. We're going to use those a lot.
Good.
Now, instead of progressing directly into Stormvale Castle, I do want to spend a lot of time exploring Limgrave, getting some of the basic stuff. We are going to need to get Godric the Grafted's Great Rune in order to get more levels, but that can wait. We should be able to, with what we have, handle most of Limgrave. Lots of cool stuff to do here, but I think first priority is going to be get a better weapon.
Oi! You there. Could you help us out, Cully? You? Yeah, you there. Stop pretending you can't see me.
I can't see you. I can hear you. No?
Why won't anyone look me in the eye? I'm not that ugly, am I?
Wait, I'm here somewhere. What was this one? Stop pretending!
Oi!
Yeah, okay, there we go. I guess I must have missed him.
What you gonna do that for?
Hello, critter.
Oh, yes. I remember. Some clod turned me into a tree. You were just breaking the spell, weren't you? Thank you. The name's Bok. I was pushed out of the cave. Told not to come back. Not ever. Then I ended up as a tree. Lucky you came along, really.
Burt Russell, thanks for 3 months.
Oh,
Support.
what a shame. When they threw me out of the cave, they took everything I owned. And so this is all I have to express my thanks. I hope you can forgive me.
10 mushrooms. Those are useful.
Well, if you can afford to wait for a while, I could sneak back into the cave and bring back something of actual value. Then I'd be of some real use to you, I reckon. Right, but I'll need a moment. I'm frightened of them, so I have to gather myself. My knees start knocking, just thinking about that god-awful cave on the shore.
Cave on the shore, huh? We'll have to go looking for that. Trolls hauling a wagon. The procession in tow. Time for some mounted combat. Unlocked! No! Dismounted and crit. I think I'm actually better off maybe not being on horseback. Torrent does get kind of stun-locked. There's no way to get iframes on Torrent, so if you get chain hit by enemies, you'll die pretty quick. Sweater Kittens, thanks for the 14 months of support. Oh yeah, that guy. We'll be back for that guy soon, actually. Probably could be starting at a closer race. Enemies can attack each other. Some enemies. Enemies with large AoE attacks can usually do friendly fire. Smaller enemies typically won't. Frozen raisins. Interesting. How long is the main game? My first blind playthrough of Elden Ring was 160 hours. But it's up to you, really, how much time you choose to spend. It's one of the biggest RPGs ever created, though. Definitely. This game is huge. How's it feel? Take that. A lot easier. Have I tried all the starting classes? I have not. Have to stop, okay? Slash. What? Huh? I thought there was an item in here. Maybe not that one? Guess not that one. Take that, horse. Yeah, there is normally an item in there, right? Hold on. That's what I thought. Oh yeah, that's where you get the great axe. Just save and quit, see if that fixes that. Not exactly planning on using Great Axe, but it would be nice to have. Oh, right, of course. Oh, it spawned over there. I saw the white of the item. You see that? It's definitely there now. Weird that it didn't spawn like that. Someone's already robbed it. Hey, here it is. Great axe. Cool. Weird. So again, going back to the rules of the game, that is the only place in the entire game world you can find the Great Axe. There are other Great Axes, but none like that one. So if that's the one that you want, then it's the only place to get it. Pretty cool. Looks like they're investigating the fallen ruins here. Kind of like a archaeological expedition, these guys. How would I rank my skill level in Souls-likes? Could do a Rune level 1 playthrough. I usually don't. Wouldn't call myself particularly good. I can't do no-hits or no-hit runs or anything like that. I'm not usually first trying bosses. But I'm well familiar with the series. So I've got some basic competence, you might call it. At minimum. Alright, more nerds with an exploding ballista bolt. Let's try to not for today, shall we? I want to try with DLC go fisticuffs. I heard there's an unarmed combat weapon as part of the DLC, so I think that playstyle is officially supported. Yeah. Dead Godric soldiers, and a woman by the road. Hello?
Hello? Is somebody there?
She's blind.
Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morn, to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay.
Secreted?
He says it's his duty.
You mean secreted, right?
As commander.
Right?
I fear for father's life. The servants are full of wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morn. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father? At the castle, my soul wishes that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe.
I'll do it.
Thank you. Dearly. Then please, take this. Deliver
Irina's
it to
letter.
my father, who remains in the castle, if you please.
Gorgeous silken handkerchief, lightly stained with blood. Words can be made out with it. Another battle camp here. Guess we'll get the items contained therein. He seems tired. Having a nap. This guy, too. Too weary to fight, even. Or at least to care about our presence. Looks like they were ambushed. These misbegotten are chopping up the bodies of the fallen. Pretty gruesome. Surprisingly aggro. There we go. How much damage does a backstab do? Quite a bit. The weapon that we're using at the moment has bonus backstab damage, so it does even more than normal. Don't know how the exact amount is calculated. Ah, yes, the Morningstar. This is a very good early game weapon located here. Morningstar is a mace-type weapon or hammer-type weapon that also inflicts bleed. So it's really good as a... and it's also got low stat requirements. This is a very good early weapon. Another scarab. These used to be little lizards in other Dark Souls games. I don't know why we went with dung beetle scarabs for Elden Ring, but we did. Kind of cool. Usually give some kind of reward. Again, unique, so that's the only place in the entire game world you get Mighty Shot is from that one scarab right there. Game that really rewards just kind of exploring the whole breadth and depth of it. Merchant. And a Site of Grace. Am I going to use the Morningstar? Probably a little bit. Won't be using the same weapon the whole time. And yes, I'm playing on PC.
Buying or selling?
What do you got? Oh, this is the guy who sells kukris. He has unlimited kukris. As well as some other cool stuff. A bastard sword is kind of an alternate to the claymore. It's pretty good. Most people prefer claymore in these games. This is the helmet we have? No, slightly different helmets. Armor. Definitely buy the cracked pot. I want the smithing stones too. Plan to make use of kukris quite a bit. Yeah, when you see a merchant that sells stuff that you're going to want to come back to and purchase on a regular basis, at least in terms of game mechanics, your best bet is to kill them. Killed merchants drop their bell bearing, which means we can purchase from their inventory at the round table hold at all times. Wait, what? Don't get on the horse. But yeah, I want to be able to buy kukris at my convenience, and that means killing this guy to get his ball bearing. Every merchant in the game, when you kill them, they drop a bell bearing that lets you access their wares at a different location. So you never get really locked out of shops. Here's the map for the Weeping Peninsula. It's Castle Morn up ahead. Good vistas here. Oh, that's right. There's a big golem guy. Definitely want to be visiting these trees. They have golden seeds at the bottom. Get more Estus Flask charges, or Flask of Fear charges. How's it going, Evolving Monkey? You're currently looking at the base game content. Back to Castlemorn in a bit. Beat the Tree Sentinel as soon as possible. We're going to go back to Tree Sentinel very shortly here. Almost ready. Those are mushrooms, right? I'm going to want lots of mushrooms in this playthrough. Make sure I grab those. Having a drink. A demi-human chief or leader or something. And a dagger. Dagger with a blood-stained blade. As blood darkened, the dagger through repeated slashing and stabbing, its blade only grew sharper and harder. This dagger has bleed buildup and has a 110 crit stats. It's actually interesting. Been thinking about using a dagger as a secondary weapon in this playthrough. That one could be interesting. Oh, you're welcome, Mats. I wanted to do a fresh playthrough, excuse me. Fresh playthrough for the DLC anyway. I'm playing how I think would most enjoy the game, rather than what I think will get me the most viewers. So I'm really looking forward to this. Double daggers could be cool? Yeah, it could be. Follow the road. The flesh. The flesh is weak. The guardians here. These things are living plant guardians of the Erd Tree. They are seen near any time there's a tree, an Erd Tree nearby. Somebody asked in the stats, what's the number to the right of the plus sign? So you see the Lord Sword's greatsword here has 136 plus 26 is the attack rating. So that's the basic weapon damage that the weapon will do. The 136 is the base damage of the weapon. And the plus 26 is the additional scaling from our stats. Every weapon has stat scaling for various stats. You'll see under attribute scaling here, strength D, dex D. Those are essentially coefficient multipliers that are then translated into a letter grade. It's a little bit nebulous, so the game doesn't really tell you exactly how much scaling you get, but the idea is that you add a percentage of the weapon's attack power based on your stats that scale, and the higher the letter grade for that stat, the better that stat will scale the weapon. As we level up more, this playthrough is going to try to make good use of stat scaling, specifically strength and dexterity scaling, in equal measure, a so-called quality build. But for the first bit, we're going to be playing mostly under-leveled, quite frankly, so we don't have a whole lot of build at all. because I'm requiring that I acquire great runes before I can level up more. So we'll spend a lot of Limgrave and the Weeping Peninsula here, which probably shouldn't take all that long to get all the major stuff from, without leveling at all. A wayward spirit here. Often we see spirit beings like this throughout the realm. Of interesting little bits to say. The Mausoleum prowls, cradling the soulless demigod. Omerica, Queen Eternal, he is your unwanted child. I think this guy is speaking of Moog. Lord of Blood, but I'm not 100% sure, actually. It's interesting that he's out here saying such a thing. Church of Pilgrimage with a statue of Radagon. Is who this is depicting. Moog and Morgott are both Marika's children. Melina is here.
Spoken echoes linger here. Words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. If you wish, I will share them with you.
Words from the Queen.
In Marika's own words. Then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed. Return to the lands between. Wage war. And brandish the Elden ring. Grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
The sacred tier we found here can increase the power of our healing flasks. It's one of the big ways to scale in this game. Thank you. Definitely want to make a point of getting to all the churches. There's another church right there. More ruins from the sky, too. It seems like they fell all over Limgrave. If you look at the map, you can see them all over, right? Ruins here, ruins down here, over here. Here, 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 even in the lake. All over Stormhill. There's ruins that fell all over the place here. Walking mausoleum. These things are pretty cool. Don't have any use for it yet, but pretty sick. They can definitely squish you with those legs, so be careful. Giant rock dog. Here's what we came for, this fellow. Got a mask on?
Well, there's been an age since I've seen a customer. How can I help here at the end of the earth?
You can show me your wares. Couple important things at this merchant that are pretty useful. A lantern you can illuminate dark caves with without taking an inventory slot. That's pretty good. But perhaps more importantly, The OG, the Ultra Great Sword, just about the largest sword a mere man is capable of swinging. True to its name, the Zweihander is designed to be wielded in both hands, but those of merely ordinary strength will struggle to do so. The long blade is heavy and sharp, sending foes reeling back with the broader strokes, while also capable of a devastating, piercing thrust.
Have a safe journey.
Power up the base cannon. So the Zweihander is a colossal sword. Use it in two hands, nice and huge. Very slow, wide swings, and then with our heavy attack, we have a slow poke that does thrusted damage. This is what I plan on using for much of our playthrough as a primary weapon. It's a big-ass sword. Quite versatile, quite powerful. I don't have enough runes now. So now we go boss hunting. We're going to go find stuff in Limgrave to kill. And I see that we have a... I think there was a temple up here, right? Let's go there. Yeah, they haven't really changed the Zweihander a lot since Dark Souls. It's still one of the best great swords around. Witchbane Ruins. Yeah, almost twice as big as a real Zweihander. That sounds about right. There's definitely lots of fantasy-sized weapons in this game, weapons of unrealistic proportion. I appreciate how in FromSoft games, weapons of such scale at least feel like they're huge. You have really slow, impactful swings rather than doing ridiculous flips and spin attacks all the time. Okay, I'm still heavy rolling, though. Need lighter armor. We'll use the chain-draped tabard for a while. There it is, the tower. Finally, I can return to our home bathed in rays of gold, he says. He's talking about that tower, that broken one over there. Definitely a stamina-heavy weapon. Using ultra swords like this definitely requires some proper timing with your attacks. Time to go get the Erd Tree Sentinel. Ready. Although I do want to upgrade this Zweihander. In addition to a level cap, I have an upgrade cap according to my own rules. Looks like I need more runes here. I can only go to +3 at the moment. To get more upgrade cap, I will have to acquire Great Runes. +2 for now. Let's tango. Actually, do I want Wild Strikes? Doesn't matter. little too late on my dodges there. Gotta remember that my light attack is very slow and my heavy attack is even slower. Let's give that another go. Camera, why are you not cooperating? That was not. Also thought I was out of range of that. No. Not gonna wait till more stamina? Who needs waiting? We're not gonna be living with a lot of stamina this playthrough. Endurance is not on my list of stats to level very much. I'll need a bit of it, but there are other priorities. golden halberd. Pretty high stat requirements on this thing, which is part of why you don't really want to kill him right away, because you can't even use the reward you get. Don't have enough stones. We don't have enough badges to train me. Let's get our flasks back. Yeah, the halberd is a pretty good weapon. You can definitely use it for most of the game. Although that's actually true of a lot of the weapons that you find in Limgrave. Many of the weapons you get early are just straight up really good, and you can use them for the whole run. Like the Zweihander, like the Lord Sword's Great Sword, like the Morningstar, like the Great Axe. These are all pretty dang good weapons that are versatile and can definitely use for the whole playthrough. Thankfully, there's no issue with using the same weapon for the whole playthrough because this game has no durability stat, notably absent from previous FromSoft RPGs and some other open-world games. There's nothing to pressure you to change combat styles too quickly or otherwise annoy you with constant repair costs. So I'm really glad that not only does this game not have durability, but they specifically removed it from their engine for this game. Really, really good move. Hey, where am I? Okay, we want to go to the beach. Get down there. Yeah, Uchigatana you can start with as samurai, and that's also absurdly good. Hello. Oh, there's a scarab down there. Excuse you. Almost got it. So there's an invisible scarab here following along a path. If we can manage to hit it along its invisible trail, then we get a special thing. There we go. Stamp sweep. Very lonely looking fellow out here. Not friendly, unfortunately. Good fight. These things are called land octopi. What a bizarre creation. One of the cool things I like about this game, I've been playing fantasy RPGs, again, for over 2 decades at this point, and Elden Ring contains quite a few creatures the likes of which I have never seen before. They really cooked up some bizarre creations for the world of Elden Ring, and I really like them. These are oddly intimidating, although once you're familiar with how to kill them, they're not that hard. They can flail like crazy. Ow. All you gotta do is stun lock them. Or cut their arms off. They take massive damage from crits. Drop eggs, just for some weird crafting stuff. We don't need to drive them to extinction, though. Demi-humans. Likely members of the tribe Bach came from, we found earlier. Wouldn't exactly call this Zweihander the correct weapon to engage small targets with, but it sure works.
What do you need? I don't want any trouble.
So here you can get the broadsword. Land squirts. Short bow and arrows. Followed by the crafting and the smithing stones. Broadsword and club are perfectly fine early game weapons. If you're starting with bad character, you can come and get these early. Buying a few poison cures, not a bad idea, actually. Let's grab those for later. Sure, I'm going to want those.
Well, be on your way then.
And I've got plenty of runes to spare because of our level caps. So we'll be buying a lot of consumables in this run, I would say. Slimes. I think I missed it. You'll receive some kind of penalty for not having the strength requirement of the Zweihander. So when you wield a weapon in two hands, your strength is considered to be 1.5 times its current value. Currently we have 15 strength. So I can use items with a 15 strength requirement in one hand, or up to 19 if I use it in two hands, which is where the Zweihander is. Note how on my weapon bar in the bottom left, there's a red X on the Zweihander, but if I equip it in two hands, the red X goes away. So there's a penalty as long as I'm wielding it in only one hand. Up to, sorry, 22, you're right, yes. 15 times 1.5, 22. Correct. Good catch, Twishette. Ah, there it is. Cave by the shore. Oh, he's here.
Oh. What are you doing here? You must leave this place at once. They'll rush in and beat you to a pulp. You'll end up just like me. Oh.
Garment rats. Got a lantern that can help light. I really like what they did with lighting in this game. FromSoft has been experimenting with lighting as a thing for dungeon exploring for a long time. Dark Souls 2, I think, was the first to try to really use it, but I really like how they did it in Elden Ring. There's a few pretty dark areas, and a couple of different ways to get light. None of them are perfect, and it does make these cave areas feel pretty cool to explore. Yeah, Tomb of the Giants in Dark Souls 1, actually, as well. Yeah, good point. That was like the first experiment with proper darkness. That was the only really dark area in that game. They kind of made it a general mechanic since then. Who's this? Old Knight Istvan. Interesting. There's the demi-human queen. Come here. Oh, 2 demi-human chiefs. Big sword works very well on big targets, usually. I think the other one didn't aggro. They are. The wall got me. Guys are in the way. Here. Close. The tailoring tools and the sewing needle. Bach the demi-human's prized possession. Bez of the needle. I think that would have been easier with a faster weapon, actually. So these return you to the start, but what's here? Goes further. We're on an island. Kinda cool. Rip crab. Church of Dragon Communion. Seems to be a dead dragon. Where we can perform the ritual of Dragon Communion. Offer dragon hearts to get draconic powers. These are pretty cool things you can... Pretty cool incantations you can build a character around. We're not going to be using them this run. But it's cool that they're an option. Is there anything else here? Doesn't seem to be. Nothing else here, seemingly. Let's head back to the cave. Give Bach his sewing needle.
Oh. What are you doing here? You... Wait. Is that what I think it is? You got it back for me. My sewing needle.
Here.
What made you go and do a thing like that? My mum was a seamstress, and that sewing kit was all I had to remember her by. I always wanted to be just like sweet old mum. Then I suppose I can't just curl up and die, can I? Thank you. You're very kind. I always wanted to be a seamster like my mum. Then
Okay. Good luck in your quest. Right, where should we head next? I think I want to do the southern peninsula first. We'll do Castle Morn and get the Erd Tree stuff here. So let's start over here. Let's continue our adventures in Elden Ring. I'm going to look for many of the bosses in the southern peninsula area here now. I guess we'll start with this Evergale. Like prisons that contain powerful enemies that are imprisoned for some reason or another. This one is the Weeping Evergale. I absolutely don't remember who's in here. Imp's seal is in effect. What? Oh, right. You have to pay Stone Sword key to open this. Let's do that. And yeah, yes, that actually should just be pronounced jail. Everjail, I guess. Ancient Hero of Zamor, kind of presented as a boss here. It's actually just a regular enemy from later in the game. Although a pretty tough one at that. Dodgy enemy. Give him the old dagger poke. Oh, that's right. That's where we get Radagon's Scar Seal. That's actually a very good find early on here. We currently have no talismans. This is our first one. An eye engraved with an Elden rune. Said to be the seal of King Consort Radagon. Radagon often indicated by sort of a diagonally aligned square grid, like you see on the pupil there. Raises all the physical stats, vigor, endurance, strength, and dex, but we take more damage with it equipped. This trinket's definitely going to help us out. Provides the equivalent of 12 additional levels. And given that we're level 10, it's super worth it. It even lets me put my helmet back on. Not the helmet I want, though. Yeah. The extra damage taken is definitely nasty. I think it's, for this one, 10% additional damage taken. But that's kind of made up for by us gaining more than 10% additional health. We go from 522 to 598. That's more than a 10% increase in health. We don't increase our healing, so the flasks are proportionally less effective now, but overall it's super worth it, because we just gain more health than we're losing. So we'll probably have this equipped for a very long time. There is a better version of this, called Radagon's Sore Seal, that has even more stats for even more damage taken. It's relatively easy to get to at the start of the game, so I could go beeline for it, but I think I won't. This one's good enough. Not even kill rats with a sword, it's too big. There we go. This is the Tombsward Ruins. Oh. Feels like another missed opportunity by From Software to have something a bit more interesting down here. We do get a relatively cool item, a winged scythe. I think that's a faith weapon. Sacred scythe resembling a pair of white wings. According to pagan belief, white-winged maidens are said to be death's gentle envoys. Wait. No. Yeah, sword too big problem. Dang it. Okay, get it. There we go. So yeah, great swords, very good at large targets, not so good at small targets. We haven't been over here. Yeah, we could swap to different weapons. Different weapons for different enemies is, I think, one of the most effective ways to play through a game like this. You know, you can ask a question like, what's the best weapon in Elden Ring? But the real answer is, the best weapon in Elden Ring is the weapon that your enemy is weak to. Whoever you're currently fighting, there's a best weapon for them that's going to be different for every other enemy. So, just like in Spire, you know, there's actually quite a bit of context dependence there. Whoa. Nothing but air. There we go. That's a big lady. Get the Demi-Human Queen's Staff and the Crystal Burst spell. What does it say about these? Lintstone Staff styled as a scepter, a gift once given to the demi-humans to foster peace. It can be wielded even by those of low intelligence. Sneered at by fools in the academy. The staff that lets you cast spells with only 10 intelligence. It's pretty good, actually, for you dabbling in magic. Is it easy to start a spell build from the very beginning? Yes. Yes, it is. Several of the starting characters have a staff to start with. And it's very early on that you can get your hands on some other spells, even if you're a non-caster character, to start. A sorcery of the Crystal Cadre, a group of sorcerers who pursued the wisdom of stone, the secrets locked in the faint cogitation of the Crystallians. Haven't met any of them yet. Let's see. She was at this end, I think. Let's think if there's anything behind. Yeah, it definitely helps to know where you find spells. Trying to find them blind could leave you at a deficit of good options early. Definitely. There's enough different spells in the game, though, that even if you miss out on some of the important ones, you'll find good ones. We won't be using any magic with our builds in this playthrough. Hey, what did I just say? Can't beat the Scarlet Rot Crystallians. What? No, you're not alone. Those things are tough. Striking weapons are required. Big hammers, good for breaking their poise. Try luring them out one at a time as well. Fighting 2 or 3 at a time is really tough. Find a crystal tear here. Is that our first crystal tear? A crystal tear formed slowly over the ages where the Erd Tree's bounty falls to the ground. We can mix this in the flask of wondrous physic, which we don't have yet, but we'll be getting pretty soon. An illusory candlestick. These summon a spirit fellow, then you can follow them to some kind of loot. Oftentimes through an obnoxious path. There it goes. At a bit of a glacial pace. Some of these are worth checking out, some are less so. Morning to you, Johnny Boom. This is where you're leading me, right? What did I call this? Earthbore Cave. Oh, by the way, quick little gameplay tip for you with regards to Elden Ring. If you're in a dungeon, a cave, a catacomb, or other area, and you haven't beaten the boss yet, then you will be unable to travel to other sites of grace from the current location. Once you clear the boss of the cave, that clears. This gives you an easy way to tell whether you have finished the boss of a particular location by whether or not you're allowed to teleport away. Ah. Excuse me. Why did the rat get smaller? I think that was just the corpse fading away, and there was another rat. I don't think it spawned another rat. Pickled turtleneck. Kind of gross. Craftable item that temporarily boosts stamina recovery. A long time consumable in these types of games. Temporarily improve your stamina recovery. Pretty good for boss fights, actually. If you can remember to use it. Worst part about the turtleneck meat in this game is that if you want to craft it, you have to farm turtles, and that's just rude. Please don't do that to the poor turtles. suspiciously boss-shaped room. Uh-oh. Big bear. Oh, that's right. Hello. These things are horrifying. Thankfully, this one doesn't do much damage, but there's many of these in the game, and they get nasty. Ah, I mean, they are nasty. Nope. That's okay. We'll just have to grin and bear it. Yeah, room bears are nasty. Big nasty. Room bear don't care. Vanna Wade, thanks for the Prime sub and the 2 months. Go get that room bear. Yes, I agree, Jotunborn. It is profoundly unfair that these things can outrun torrents. What? No, come on. That barely hit me. A little hard to see the action, but we got it. GG. Get a talisman for that too. The Spelldrake Talisman. Boosts our magic damage reduction. Bear no. Ripnator, thanks for the 100 bits. The ancient dragons who ruled in a prehistoric era before the Erd Tree would protect their lord as a wall of living rock. And so it is that the shape of the dragon has become symbolic of all manner of protection. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You also get some crafting stuff. Aight. Okay, what else is there around here? I remember there's a, oh, we gotta go to the tree. Remember there's a deathrite bird somewhere on this peninsula. Does anyone know where that is? Not actually sure where it is. Or a death bird of some kind. Near where I get the map. Okay, around here-ish. Cool. some of the bosses that only appear at night can be a bit tricky to track down. Yeah, running around killing and collecting at the moment, yes. Just kind of gathering all the important bits of stuff from South Limgrave and then Main Limgrave. Then we'll probably tackle Stormvale, defeat Godric the Grafted. That's going to advance some story plot lines for various characters. So I'm going to try to meet most of the NPCs that are in this region before that happens. Guide and gatekeeper for those returning to the roots. Points us in the direction of a catacomb area. I don't think the catacombs have a lot of appeal for this playthrough. They generate, or they primarily contain upgrade materials for spirit ashes that we're not using. But some of the catacombs contain unique weapons or other things, and they are kind of interesting dungeons in their own right. So I'll do some of them, but not all of them. This one should be pretty easy, so I might as well do it. Again, this one contains a stone sword key lock with these imps, which we'll go ahead and use. Oh, that's pretty important. What does that make? Rancor pot. Neat. Just started raining outside. How am I enjoying playing Elden Ring on the new PC? It's running like a dream. I'm glad it's not giving OBS any trouble. I'm running this in 4K, along with OBS, but it's running pretty buttery smooth. There's maybe the occasional tiny jitter, but for the most part, it's completely rock solid 60 FPS, which I'm loving. My first playthrough was on PS5, actually, not on this PC. Yes, I have bought this game twice, which I've done with pretty much every FromSoft RPG, actually. I think I've bought Dark Souls 3 times. Bought Dark Souls 2 times. I think I only bought Dark Souls 1 one time, or Dark Souls 3 one time. But yeah. Spend a lot of time in these games, so it's worth it for me. There we go. For skeletons, you really do like a mace. Just works so much better. These ghost glove wort aren't useful to us since we're not going to be using spirit ashes, but we can still sell them to a merchant for some runes. Not that I need runes that much. Yes, all my restrictions will apply in the DLC, the Composer. Some of the items I find in the DLC may potentially meet my criteria for increasing our level cap, but there also might not be any. Okay, here's the lever, marked by a statue. This statue with a... holding a lantern always indicates the lever to open the boss door in these catacombs. This one helpfully lets us get back. I'm gonna go back around, though. I think there was one little area I missed. Exclamation point build has an FAQ slash build info. God. Basics, though, are no spells, no shields or parrying, and we have a limit on how much we can upgrade our weapons and level our character based on the world state. Oh god, 4 of them? Ah! Hold on. Use the force. No. No. I didn't even need to go down that hallway. What's up, Wumbo? Thanks for the 8 months of support. You're heckin' welcome. For all the cozy content. Do stats scale consumables? Yes. Most consumables in this game are scaled by 1 or more stats. There are consumables that scale off of every damage stat. So no matter what kind of character you're playing, they've added consumables that fit, which is pretty cool. Are we unusually small for a human in this game? I would say we are of average size. However, size is a bit of an oddity in From Software games, as typically size is used to indicate power in some fashion. So the mythological figures within the universe, even if they are ostensibly humans, will typically be gigantic in stature to reflect their larger-than-life power. So for this reason, most of the humanoid bosses that we face will be a lot bigger than us, even if they're supposed to be humans. Yeah, these are genuinely big skeletons. sure why I thought I would have a map. It's not how this works. Makes the camera work better? That's interesting. Wouldn't have thought about that. Here we are. Wait. No. It's the door. Heavy doors usually at the start, ain't it? It's not here. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Usually the store's at the start. Go back to our big sword. Oh, this thing. Cemetery shade. Creepy. I hate it. Not much health though. Okay. Hard to hit it with a greatsword. Noted. Seems to work better. Oh. The range, though. Any benefit to starting fresh or just for fun? Just for fun. Plus, so I can put the whole thing on as like one continuous playthrough. I think it'll make for better context of what we find in the DLC. Both the lore and difficulty-wise, too, I think. Take it. Good job throwing daggers. Lootle the Headless. What does it say about him? Spirit of a headless knight who leads the mausoleum soldiers. Wields a lance enrobed in death and hurls spectral lances at foes. Lutal sacrificed her life so that in death she could continue to protect a soulless demigod until their revival, earning her the hero's honor of Erdtree burial. Protect a soulless demigod. Interesting. Want to grab this root resin. Root resin's a crafting ingredient that's a little hard to get in this game. We use it to make grease that we can put on weapons. Okay, that was a fun little detour. Coming up here, we have our first Erdtree avatar. These are spirit beings that are formed around young Erdtrees. I suppose it's some sort of guardian spirit, which seem to be protecting the Erdtrees. So pretty much every time we see an Erdtree like this, there'll be a corresponding Erdtree avatar. The model skeleton for this thing comes from the Asylum Demon of Dark Souls 1. Still, they were able to reuse some assets and create a pretty cool looking new enemy. A bit odd to see Asylum Demon's animation still getting used after all this time, but I think they did a pretty good job of making it feel like something completely new. Miss me? In each of the Erdtree avatars we're going to defeat will drop items like this, bubble tears, that are used to mix into the Flask of Wondrous Physic. Bubble Tear's a really fun one. Block one hit, pretty much in its entirety, and this one causes regeneration over time, which is cool and all. Anything around the Erdtree? I'm not sure. Singing. One is singing. So one of these hideous bat creatures is singing. Got the head of a lady. Head of an old crone. And what I definitely didn't know when I first played this game, that I've since come to learn, is that This is... It sounds like some kind of made-up fantasy language or something, but this is an actual song with words that mean stuff. I think it's Latin or something Latin-sounding. But there are actual words to this song. Quite cool. Bat Latin. This way? Not clear where that singing is coming from. Hello. I do want some smoldering butterflies. Okay, thank you. I guess let's head in the direction of Castle Morn. Oh, there's also a mine over here. Now, let's do that first, actually. There's a tunnel on the map there. Flowers. Hello. Get out of here. It's definitely not expecting that. Welcome to Morn Tunnel. I like these dungeons. Sound of clinking and mining. Lots of upgrade stones to be found in these places. These guys are pretty sword resistant. I think I'll have more luck with the maze. That's a lot better. Let's Spellcasting, mostly because it's just my preference. I do find that spell builds tend to be a bit easier in FromSoft RPGs, and I don't think Elden Ring is any exception there. I also don't really find the spell design that FromSoft comes up with to be very interesting. Seems like every game, the options are blue missile, blue homing missile, or big blue missile. Sometimes also big blue homing missile, or many small blue missiles. But all of your options seem to be some flavor of shoot blue at enemy, which is not how I like to wizard. I also think the good points of the game, the combat design, the boss openings, the dodging of attacks, all just, it is better experience with a melee build. I think it's the more polished and refined aspect of the game, generally. So it's more fun for me to play. But one of the cool things about RPGs is that you can do multiple playthroughs with totally different playstyles that are quite fun. And everybody can play with their favorite kind of build, so I'm really happy that there's so many different spells in Elden Ring. Shields are to make it more interesting and more hard for me. Definitely quite easy to trivialize the defense part of the game with shields, especially great shields, which are very effective. Yeah, you want an easy time in Elden Ring? Cast spells with a great shield. A fairly foolproof strategy. But yeah, I don't think there's any correct or incorrect way to play the game, just to be clear. I'm not saying that anyone is playing the game wrong or anything. These are just my self-imposed rules for a playthrough that I think I will find very interesting and fun to play. There's some unnecessary gatekeeping that happens with Elden Ring and other FromSoft games. Completely unnecessary. And I don't like when I see that happening. Play how you like. It's a fun game. Get lost all you like, too. Where am I? Not here. Exactly, just like my self-imposed Spire challenges. In fact, I originally got the idea for challenge runs of Slay the Spire after seeing the challenge runs that the Souls community came up with for playing their games. Specifically, actually, Lobos Jr., who I'm sure is live right now, streaming Elden Ring. And his challenge runs of Dark Souls really inspired me to modify the game's rules for myself in order to make for a more fun experience. Like that I could have a more interesting and more fun time if I intentionally limited my options. Was kind of an eye-opener for me in gaming. Okay. Don't need to do that, thank you. Enough of that. Not quite going as I wanted. Let's try again. Take them in the choke points, so their numbers count for nothing. You are obnoxious. Beasts. Cosplay runs. Yeah, those are pretty cool. Pick a character in the game world that you think has cool style and then just copy their fighting technique and weapon choice. I think that's pretty cool to do. Elden Kirby. This is you. Rusted Anchor. This is technically a great axe. A rusty anchor wielded as a weapon. Each of its 4 flukes is thick and sharp, enabling piercing attacks. When the Tarnished left the lands between with their lord, one boat alone was said to have been left behind. The Tarnished left the land between. Interesting. Stat requirements on this. We can use it, apparently. 26 strength. Pretty wicked looking. Does seem pretty effective. Okay, so a Pierce type Great Axe. That's very interesting. This is a Strength Dex weapon, so this will be one of the many things we'll eventually have the ability to use. I mean, we technically can use it right now. Might give it a bit of a try, but... Back to Big Sword. I believe I was over here. Looks like something that could stop a ship. Yeah. Let's spend some of these runes. We have way too many of these. Okay, so another bit of information some people may have missed. You don't have to mouse all the way over here to the Table of Lost Grace if you want to teleport there. You can open the Site of Grace menu, and then there is a hot button. You see that X, go to Round Table Hold. You're able to just press 2 buttons. Triangle X, go to table, or triangle square on the PlayStation, and you go immediately to the Round Table Hold without having to drag the map icon over there. We are here to buy from the dude that I killed. Also, Gideon's office is open. What's up?
What do you need? I have little time to spare.
What do you mean, a house guest?
Oh, are you aggrieved at the notion you are but a visitant here? Then you would do well to remember the first words of grace given to you. Stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord. If those words held any meaning to you, follow the guidance of grace. Lay low the shard bearers and claim for yourself a great rune. Do so, and the doors to the round tables in the chamber will open, and you will receive the wisdom of the 2 fingers.
What now? Alright, I guess I'll go get to that. Do you want? So we can now purchase from that merchant that we killed. I'm gonna buy some kukris. I could buy 398. I don't need that many. Let's get a couple hundred to start. Can't sell, right? That's right. This medallion raises health. I'm gonna buy that just for completion's sake. What else do you have for sale? Rune arcs. Stone sword keys. I'll buy a couple of those. In fact, we can use those here at the Round Table Hold. We haven't met Hugh the Smith yet. Is it based on fantasy by Brandon Sanderson? No, based on fantasy by George R.R. Martin.
You're a new face. No matter. It's all the same. Lay out your arms. Let's get smithing.
Seems like this guy is a misbegotten, similar to the creatures we've already been facing. You have chains on your legs.
I see you've noticed the chains. Nothing special. I'm a prisoner and these are my chains. I'm trapped by the hold. I'm dying, smithing for you fools. That's all there is to it.
You're a prisoner.
No, don't read too much into it. I've no grudge against you. My being a prisoner is no fault of yours. Besides, I don't mind smithing. Despite my differences, the weapons get stronger all the same. Given time, technique never fails. Besides, it helps me forget the sheer terror of her.
Her, I think in this case, references Queen Marika herself. Hugh doesn't talk much about it, but I think he had some kind of direct interaction with Queen Marika. He seems scarred by the event. I can sell these. Hey there, Glarber Flurpist. I don't mind Spire questions in general. What did we win with today? We had 4 strength with Gurya and Vajra. We were heavy into attacks. And I played flechettes for over 300 damage. It was a good time. Also, turn 1 against Time Eater, I played flechettes and brought Time Eater to exactly half health. It's pretty funny. Yeah, 1 card for Time Eater phase 1. That's pretty cool. We get Krepus's Black Key Crossbow. What does it say about that? Weapon of Krepus, who served the 2 fingers from the shadows of the Round Table as the head confessor. Didn't specifically disallow ranged weapons with my rule set. I am definitely going to use ranged consumables like throwing daggers. I don't know about bows or crossbows, though. Haven't decided if they're allowed. And the Assassin's Prayer Book. Prayer Book of the Round Table Holds Assassins. So some good stuff for assassin sneaky type characters down here. Stone sword keys are sufficiently plentiful that I'm not worried about running out of them, so whatevs. And now let's get back over here. There's a couple bosses around here that only appear at night. So we're going to wait until nightfall. There's one of them right there. Called the Knight's Cavalry. These riders only appear after dusk. Equip a bow to fire arrows, says the game. You don't say. Bit busy here, don't you think? trees. Thank you. Whoa, nice move. Went over him? Enemy found. Get an Ash of War.